work without pay for the Justice Department. She's, again, I guess one of the 50,000 people ordered back to work with no pay. That's ridiculous. She recently began asking her mother, 77, for money after she depleted savings she had accumulated since the government shut down in 2013. I am watching the news every 10 minutes praying that something happens because we cannot take any more. She says that one of the many affected, earning an annual salary around $50,000. Is this a political emergency? No, it's a humanitarian emergency, Andres told Weiland in an interview as he prepped for the shutdown's opening. So yeah, there's a lot of shutdown stories. Like, for example, Ken Klippenstein of Young Turks, shout him out. Go follow him on Twitter. A really gritty reporter. He's like a FOIA guy. He's not going to get any of the big scoops, but he's going to force his way into them. So it's really some pretty cool stuff. So finally, just on this crazy situation, the FAA, Federal Aviation Agency, or Administration, whatever it is, they are ordering workers to come back to pay, and also say also they're saying to the federal workers, don't make any political statements, don't talk to the media about it at all, or you could face serious consequences. And then someone just replied all like, isn't working without pay, isn't there a guidance against that? Isn't that being illegal? And see, I hear that interesting scoop on Twitter last night. So yeah, when Mike Pence took the stage yesterday to address the Global Chiefs of Mission Conference at the State Department, he brought with him some good news about Syria. We are bringing our troops home, he told the auditorium full of diplomats. The caliphate has crumbled and ISIS has been defeated. About that. The only problem is, shortly after Pence's remarks, military officials confirmed that 4 Americans were killed in a suicide bombing in Syria, for which the Islamic State claimed credit. Pence had apparently been briefed on the assault before he delivered his speech, and he later issued a statement acknowledging the fatality. So that is not very good for the president there, and he did probably a good job. Probably a bad job of Pence did a good job of not a very honest thing to do, I'd say. He didn't do a very good job there on that front. But I do support still the push to get out of Syria. I think that's, again, very, very important. This isn't the first time, though, U.S. leaders' proclamation of victory over the Islamic State has raised eyebrows. Last month, Trump also declared the military group defeated before suddenly announcing the withdrawal of 2,000 U.S. troops currently stationed in Syria. Republicans on the Capitol struck a pretty discordant tone, wrote the Post's Karen Morello. Senator Graham, Michael McCall, Marco Rubio all have said, ISIS is not defeated. So Graham was like, let's not be too fast about bringing these troops home. Let's not go so quickly. I think that's what she's trying to say, what they're trying to say. Like, slow down on that. All right. Now we move across from the State Department and ISIS to across the pond and Brexit. It's a political earthquake right now for British Prime Minister Theresa May, narrowly surviving a vote of no confidence in Parliament just a day after her Brexit deal suffered the worst defeat for a Prime Minister in the country's modern political history. Normally, a British leader who the previous day had lost a vote on her government's most important legislation by such a margin might be expected to resign or be swept away. But these are not normal times. Now May must present lawmakers with a withdrawal plan B, even though there is a fundamental disagreement about what Brexit should look like, or whether it should happen at all. So some people calling now for a people's referendum, in which probably the Leave campaign would lose and Remainers would win. And still, though, that's not getting too much support yet. But we are still going to keep an eye on that and a host of other options to deal with. During a meeting of the Atlantic Council, an international relations think tank, former British ambassador to the United States, Sir Peter Westmacott, offered his assessment. Never in recent time has a governing party lost a motion of any kind by this much as 230 votes. There has been a remarkably similar terms about the tensions and divisions thrown up in recent months over years in the United States and the UK, Westmacott said. Between what you might call global internationalists, many who have done pretty well materially in life over the last few years since the financial meltdown of 2008, and the left behind category, who have become resentful of political leadership and also nervous about globalization, about China eating their lunch, about stagnant incomes, and so on. So, yeah, very, very rough situation there. A huge chunk of conservatives, if we look at the breakdown of some of the votes on the on how things folded out, how things laid out there, it was largely conservatives voting aye, but a good chunk voting no on the Brexit deal. But of course, all Labour voted no. No surprise, they're the opposition party, and then no confidence. Pretty much the Tories came in very big for Theresa May on that front. So yeah, Theresa May surviving, living on another day, but the road for her looks tougher than it ever has. All right, on the Hill, Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez at 2.42 million followers. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is giving her less tech-savvy Democratic colleagues a Twitter lesson this morning. Sheesh. USA Today's Eliza Collins report that the House Democratic Policy and Communications Committee is hosting a session on the most effective ways to engage with constituents on Twitter and the importance of digital storytelling. Ocasio-Cortez will be leading this discussion along with Jim Himes of Connecticut. It's a little random choice. But it's very, very it's very funny that they have this going on here. It's because I really don't think any of them are going to really be able to pick up Twitter very quickly because they're all like old guys, and old guys can't do Twitter really well. It's just like, unless they have like personalities like and spice like Trump does. Like Trump has that spice, but yeah, it's going to be very tough for them to capture. Maybe some can, maybe like some people are actually have fun personalities, but it's very hard to get the Twitter game right. So, she said to the Washington Post, Ocasio did, "It's encouraging because this is my 6th day in Congress and they're already out of artillery," referring to the GOP. "The nude is supposed to be like the bazooka. You know, like, we're going to take her down. Do you draw out of bullets? Draw out of bombs? Draw out of the stuff? What have you got left? You tell them." Representative Dan Crenshaw said Ocasio-Cortez overstates Republicans' ire directed at her. I don't know about that. "We don't care if, and stop accusing us of caring," she told Vivek about a dancing video released from her days of the college student. Like, they all, like, literally were like, "Oh, we're not mad about that," after just, like, literally getting mad about that. No GP member has said anything as far as I'm aware. Don't paint the whole other side. Like, that's just because you got a mean tweet, and now you're like, now the whole GOP thinks that that's not true. I don't do that to you, so don't do it to me. Yeah, but you, Dan Crenshaw, don't know how marginal tax rates work. So that is something that you should work on. All right, finally, the Washington Post is reflecting on a headline of Woodrow Wilson, President Woodrow Wilson, who scrapped the tradition of delivering the State of the Union to Congress in writing in favor of delivering it in person, a tradition last practiced in 1801. Of course, is very custom with the news that we see in today's show about how we are seeing a lot of debate about Nancy Pelosi shutting down the invitation to come and give the State of the Union in the House, and that's what we don't know. So all official Washington was agape last night with a decision of the president to go back to the long abandoned custom. Strangely enough, there was little criticism of what the president intends to do. The absence of any strictures on this course may be due, however, to the fact that senators and representatives are too astonished over what some of them regard as a startling move to give any coherent expression to their views. Like, that's how shocked they were. The president is giving the speech actually at home and in Congress. So yeah, to the people. And that tradition has remained until now, where Nancy Pelosi is trying to force Trump to actually either give it in writing or wait a little bit. All right, that's it for us. Thank you so much for starting your day with the Wake Up.